Okay, let's see. Can everyone hear me?
I can.
Cool. Good morning.
Hey, good morning.
Morning.
Camera on.
How's it going? I did not just run to the coffee store and then like basically flash speed run into my office, I promise.
No worries if you did.
Cool. I don't have an agenda this meeting, so if anyone has anything they want to bring up, I will post the meetings happening in the channel. So
Yeah. Hello, everyone. This is day one for me. Sarah, I think you know me. Hey, Brian. I'm
Hello.
Phil Gibson. I'm one of the upstream or open source PMs here at Microsoft, and so I've been asked to kind of get involved with this community as well. And I've been playing around with Porter, which is some pretty cool tech. And so just really looking forward to working with the community here.
this is the other half of Ralph.
That's great.
That we
All
have
right.
two Ralphs.
I can never replace Ralph. You know,
You're not
that's
in Italy right now.
almost
are you?
impossible.
Yeah.
No, I'm in the southeastern part of the States here, not
yeah.
southern Italy, where I could be drinking some nice wine. I'm sure Ralph is doing that.
We need to get you on that level. If we can be like, we need Phil to go to Italy. He needs
That's
it.
next level. I'll probably be in London at some point, but
Oh.
And Brian, who are you with? You don't mind me asking.
I'm with myself right now, so I'm currently.
Okay.
I was with F5 Networks a couple months back, and I was the
Nice.
liaison between F5 and Porter, and basically being able to focus my time on Porter while I was at F5. Now I'm no longer. I was cut as part of the last cut at F5, and I'm just kind of working on Porter as I look for what's next.
Gotcha.
Right.
Yeah. Sorry to hear that, but
it's part of it's what's happening right now. Wasn't
Yeah.
unexpected.
gotcha.
Yeah, my partner, I don't know if I told you guys this in this room, but she just had that 8% layoff, which, oh man, was their drama. And yeah, my partner was a part of it. Most of it was actually, they say most of it's sales, but a lot of it was like old engineering folk. So it's been
Wow.
interesting to watch that unfold, because I don't know how they did it at F5, but sorry, in my head you're X F5, so like whenever I like say F5, that's what it
That's
becomes.
the new Slack channel I'm on, is XF5.
It's just like in my head it just autocorrects. But yeah, they just basically like I was eating cereal with him downstairs for lunch, and like we have like a hashy Slack, and like someone posted just got laid off, LOL, and I looked at him and I was like, did you just get laid off? And he like looked at his phone, he was like, shit, Armand invited me to a meeting, and then like immediately they cut access. Like it was like I was like, you guys are such, at least Microsoft is like, oh, you're getting laid
it was
off.
a little nicer for us.
Yeah.
Where, it had some wiggle room, and it wasn't so bad because like my entire org went away and the CTO left right after.
Oh, okay.
So so I was in the office as a CTO, and like his entire org went away, and then he went away a week later after the layoff. So
I didn't realize they killed the office of the CTO. That's like, man, Armand still has his little research team. Whatever.
Yeah.
I could always talk shit, but yeah. Oh, so KubeCon China emailed me. I don't know if you got the email too. Are you on the maintainers list for Porter, the mailing list? I should add you on that.
I didn't get anything.
I'll add you and Steven both onto it. Yeah, they emailed us and they were like, do you want to have a booth at like KubeCon China? I was like, sure. So we'll find out July 19th if we have a booth. Kind of freaks me out to like have a booth at KubeCon China.
Does that require people to be in a booth?
Oh yeah, I have to. Well, my sister used to live in like Shanghai for a couple of years, so I was like, Sam, if I go, like you have to come help me because I'm scared. But I was going to see if I could get other people to also come. I think we have like a good chance to go to KubeCon Chicago, and that's not as scary as China. So
I submitted the CFP for Stephen and I for KubeCon Chicago yesterday. So,
yes.
so we got that
What's
all.
the topic?
What did we end up with? Let me see. What do we call it? It's leveraging Porter and CNAB for efficient cloud deployments at scale. And it's all about Porter, CNAB, Argo workflows, open telemetry, Jaeger, all as part of a packaged deployment for running, installing bundles via the operator.
Nice, yeah. Yeah, as I like familiarize myself with Port, I've been running through it. I do hear Argo come up a lot. So is that like the preferred like CI?
The last I was at the KubeCon LA a couple of years back, and it really felt like ArgoCon, not KubeCon, with the amount of excitement around Argo there. And
Right.
I've used a number of different workflow engines over the years, and there was a really impressive talk I saw about Argo CD.
Yeah.
And just its ability to like extend its UI, to put custom elements in there specific to your workflow, to have that kind of user experience. And plus, just out of the box, it gave us a workflow engine to just kind of, Kubernetes native, integrated with a lot of Azure services that we were using. And it just worked really well with having Argo workflows then create resources for the Porter operator to then just run with. So,
got it.
But at the end of the day, any workflow engine can do the trick, and I just like Kubernetes native stuff for that. Yeah.
No, that's good to hear. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say it's good to add in all the buzzwords. Actually, that's what Bridget was telling me too, which was like, go find the new hottest latest. And I was like, I think Argo is the new hottest latest.
Yeah.
It has
Kelsey Hightower he's like angel funding an Argo CD as a service, startup right now. So
really, what is it called?
If I remember, I can't remember off the top of my head.
Argo. I'm looking it up now.
Yeah, that's interesting. What's the tool out of Docker? Dagger. Yeah. Anyone touch that?
Oh my god! Wait, is that different than the other thing? Hang on.
Yeah,
Oh no, I'm thinking of something else. I'm thinking of this, which someone was telling. Actually, Brian, you told me about it, and then I have an old coworker who works here.
Oh yeah. The people from Digger Dev.
Yeah.
They reached out to me about Porter, and then they actually asked me if I'd help contribute to their it's a Terraform Cloud, an open source equivalent of Terraform Cloud.
Yeah.
Which is exactly what I was working on internally at F5. We literally retired Terraform Enterprise with the Porter solution we put in place. And that open source Terraform cloud project, it's on the right track for Terraform Cloud, but like what we ran into is Terraform Cloud was limiting what it could do. Like Terraform is never enough to solve a problem. And it was based on like, oh, you got to do everything with Terraform. So.
I'm sorry, that is such a good like talk title right there. Like if you like reword it to be a little bit nicer, but like Terraform is never enough is such a good talk title. And I would go to that so hard.
Yeah. All right. I've done that presentation internally at work so many times. I should probably dust something like that off again.
That would be sick. Because it has like the good like ring to it where like people would be like, oh shit, yeah, and like you get like all of the different like people who don't believe you yet. Oh, it'd be so
but
good.
anybody who's been hands-on with Terraform, they know they're always local execing out to something, and then they need that. So
sorry, there's a dog that keeps putting an alligator on my keyboard. So I just have to keep throwing it. I
right
know.
down.
Every time I'm in a meeting, I forget who it was, but like they saw in like the background he'll just like come up and hit me with it, and I'm just like, fine. So,
Oh, cool.
dang.
Yeah. So one thing that I think because I'm kind of green to just kind of going through this, but it's definitely a lot of doc updates I want to put in there. One kind of conversation I was having with Ralph was trying to make this a little more operator practitioner approachable. All those cool words. Because it's an awesome tool. I think I kind of struggled through it. Eventually I got to to do it, but there's definitely a bit of some friction here, I would think, just from me just reading other type of docs that do this stuff. So yeah, so be on the lookout for that. I think I'm gonna just kind of focus on kind of.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, I struggle with the docs and finding things in there now, and that's like with that latest demo project that I've been working on, where it's just like you run a single make target and it just deploys everything for you. That was I needed something like that because I needed it all in code, because doing it via the docs wasn't sufficient anymore.
Yeah.
So,
is that demo, like, are you still working on it? Because I know you were adding like some OTel stuff, some tracing.
Yeah, I'm getting the OTel stuff and the tracing stuff into it. And there's actually a issue that I cut around the operator because it currently doesn't support the Porter config resource for the operator doesn't support telemetry configuration right now. So I was working on that yesterday and almost got it all coded up. But my goal is to get it so that have the telemetry config in there and push that stuff up. And then we've got the latest, the API stuff for the outputs for the operator or for Porter. Now that we have that, Steven's got a branch he's working on to integrate that stuff in as well. So
what do we have left for the operator view? I'm pulling it up right now.
Oh yeah.
Because I know like Steven was like, we're really, really close. And then when I talked to you after we merged the API, you were like, there's some bugs. And I was like, okay, getting conflicting information here. But I didn't know like how close.
Yeah, I think Steven got I don't know the status of it. Maybe we can look at it, but there was another fix going into the operator. So we would be a little bit more restrictive on saying you can only have one Porter config per Kubernetes namespace instead of for every installation, potentially having a different Porter config associated with it.
Okay.
And so that we should look at the status of that, because that is going to tighten some things up that allow us to put in just a more opinionated deployment model for the operator.
Hey, what's 202? PR 202.
Let's see. Do you have a link you can send real quick, or is that Porter one, or is it an operator?
It's an operator. Here, hang on. And if this is something, can we use it? Can I click on the right thing? No.
So while you get that going, so
yeah, that's that's the one.
Okay. And is he updating this one?
Yeah, I thought it looks like there's a code diff in there. So it's just about moving this PR through.
Oh yeah. Well, wait, no, I don't see him updating. He commented on 27th. Right?
April 27th.
I'm gonna ping him. Let's see what's going on. You guys can carry on or not. Just gonna.
Yeah, I mean, he's working now, so but
you would message me. Okay. Okay. Because if we have that and that works and it's marginable, then we can just like the only other big one I think is the delete of resources. And then I don't know, what else was super important? I think we can close the API one if that's still open.
Yeah.
So 63 is closed.
I mean, we do have, so the API work, we did the Porter half of it, but now there's like, what do we want that to look like deployed alongside the operator? And do we want it to just be deployed out of the box as part of the operator? Is it like an optional deployment that we want to provide initially? Most likely that's going to be the case. But we don't have like updated manifests for the operator deployment in the operator repo that will just deploy that service alongside of it.
I thought already there was the groundwork through the operator, and then we're working backwards from what I thought.
No, we have to get the functionality into Porter first, and then the
First, and then
operator
come back.
leverages it. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense in hindsight. Okay, and you want to have it as an optional flag for the API?
I think we have to look at it like yeah, it could just be something that we just deploy as part of the operator moving forward. Yeah, and it's just you get the operator, you get an API server alongside of it.
Okay, that works.
But yeah, well, like in the demo project that been putting together, it's all we'll be able to prove it out there a little bit first and see what it looks like, and then maybe see what the best fit is for how we want it to be deployed to users.
Okay.
But let's see. I think the telemetry config stuff and this stuff. It's all pretty straightforward work. It's all kind of known work. It's about getting it in there, and then I think a docs update would be a good end result of all that.
We have these people, I forget what their team is called, but you've seen them kind of in the chat. It's Cynthia Lynn. She's like a Microsoft person, and I'm hoping that I can loop them in to like reading the docs and doing some updates, because she's an intern. So I'm like, oh, like what a really good PR for you would be to update the docs, and then you're a contributor. So I'm trying to push that, so it takes a little bit of work off. Cool. Thank you for knocking my phone off the table. So that way it's not just you updating it, and maybe we can bribe Phil and Ralph to doing it as well, because they're kind of going, I know Phil, you're going through all of the docs right now, so if we could even earmark where in the docs like we really need hand holding.
I have problems seeing the forest for the trees at this point in the docs, because like my mind will connect the dots on things that a new user or a new reader won't. So
yeah, I think we might need to look at kind of just reformatting the whole TLC here. But yeah,
and honestly, I've often found it like I don't think there's search support in the docs right now.
Oh my god, yeah. But I
find
there's none.
I struggle so much understanding the table of contents and where to actually look for that thing I know about. I just want to find that reference for it. I struggle with that all the time in the docs.
Yeah, so structure should fix that, but yeah, I need to dig in and look at. I'm assuming this is a like one of these templates. There may be a search support add-on for this.
Yeah, I was
I think it's all Hugo stuff.
Template. Yeah, this is a Hugo template. Yeah.
We have a UI person who is like comes in, goes every now and again. And so I was wondering if we make an issue and tag it as UI, they will appear, which might be a good idea. So I've noticed that when I started tagging things like good first issue, people started to appear. I was like, wow, it's magic. So I'm trying to keep that going. Even if they aren't really good first issues, like there was that CLI issue that kind of became like a this is gonna need some hand holding type of thing, but whatever. I think it's good just to get people interested in it. Yeah, okay, so I will make a UI. Let me type this down, or else when this meeting ends, I'm gonna just forget everything. I will make UI issue to add search functionality in Docs. Do you think? I'd like to make an issue for Docs. And I think we have a Docs person actually in our contributor thing, don't we? Look. Or do you think it's better if we try to get newbies to kind of go through and add the docs instead of like tagging a docs issue? Does anyone have an opinion?
I think doc issues are a good idea. Yeah, like I've even been trying to ping members of my other team who are looking to do more open source stuff to, you know, take little bites, and having issues around that I think would be helpful.
That's a good idea. Yeah, and the goal is, even my partner is like, I'm going to contribute to Porter, and I was like, oh, buddy, okay. I was like, you know, I mean, I want like more of like a fluff of good first issues to kind of like draw in people just to like read and update the docs. And then it's easier for us over time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, let's I think docs is a big issue. Meaning like you could almost attack it with like an enhancement proposal and just let's, you know, I'd say, hey, let's take a vote on kind of like the flow, especially like for newbies that are onboarding, and then decide kind of like, you know, what that whole format should be, and then go update the docs. You know, I'd rather stay away from kind of onesie twosie updates. Let's all just kind of agree on like kind of like top level format.
Get a North
Okay.
Star in place for
exactly,
what we want it to
yeah.
look like. Yeah.
Yeah, because when I was going through it, and it was a little kind of, it was kind of all over the place. And I chat with Ralph, and Ralph had a ton of like just tribal knowledge. But I was saying, yeah, if you really want like, you know, the standard operator at some enterprise to really take a hold of this, we got to kind of format it in a way like, hey, when they hit like, you know, cloud formation, you know, docs, or, you know, bicep docs, Terraform docs, like there's kind of some similarity there to get them going.
Justice and I were just talking about this like last, I don't know, every day is the same now. We talked about it eventually. And he was like, he didn't say it like this, but he was like, we should update the website. I was like, good thing I don't know anything about front end, but I would love that. And I actually pulled up the console website and it was like, look at this, like it's like clean, you know, exactly. There's tutorials right in your face. There's like a really simple, easy to digest tagline, like all of this. And I was like, Porter kind of needs like a zhuzhing, like it needs like a, you know, someone to come in and just be like,
well, that's
and
where like, sorry.
Go ahead.
My motivation with that demo, like I needed to get through the docs and just have it. So it's like you clone and you run a single make target, and then you have a complete working example, and then you run another make target, and it submits a sample installation through it. Like it's a two-step process to actually see everything up and running as a cohesive system, you know? And I like, and not only does it help in the development workflow, but it helps to just kind of showcase functionality and all kinds of things. So
yeah, the demos and the website, and this is such like a poor term, but it's kind of the only term that I've been taught as like an adult, is the operator experience, and not the operator, but like the operator is like something that I really wanted to like focus on, especially with like, you know, if your talk gets accepted, my talk gets accepted, you know, we're going to kind of be doing like a lot of Porter things at KubeCon. And so I want there to be like a seamless operator experience. Note that like I don't have to worry about this till November. So in October, I'll start like crying about it a lot more because it'll be a month before. But yeah, I don't know. Phil, if you can find a UI.
That's funny because
person.
I'm the opposite. I have to have everything fixed right now and that demo working like I want it for the presentation right now. So I don't have to think about it between now and something potentially in November.
You were luckily, just as confirmed, you were luckily more into the operator knowledge than I am Porter based. So I'm just like looking at dependencies and like the 50 issues that are created for dependencies. And I'm like,
Yeah,
how the hell do I make this a working demo by November?
yeah.
And then like you just like you're like reading, you're really, and there's a lot of like incidences where I'm like reading, and then like I'll find something and it'll be like, Carolyn did this 6 months ago. Here's like a whole like list on how she did it. And you're just like, I just spent
Yeah.
a week working on this. So
Yeah.
there's been a lot of like fun with that. So I'm hoping between operator and porter dependencies and like that kind of like, I'm trying to get us into the app delivery tag, but it's kind of scary for me because I don't know much about tags or like how CNCF works. Phil, are you very CNCF-y?
A bit.
How do I join tag? I just keep going to the meetings and I just sit and I'm just like, Porter exists.
Yeah, we should be able to make that happen. Yeah,
Which tag?
The app delivery one, I feel like that's the one Porter would align with most.
Cool.
Like, shouldn't we be in a tag, right?
It's always good to raise visibility.
Right.
So, I mean, as soon as you join the Google group, or go through, like, there's some web UI at this point where you go and join the tag. I'm not sure all of them use all the same thing, but it's mostly just the Google group, right? And then as they have meetings, it's always good to maybe throw stuff on there, like agenda items, just even if it's just to raise awareness. So for example, tag runtime before this meeting had Kube Clipper, and yeah, I'd never heard of it before. And then WASM Cloud. So Kube Clipper does like cluster lifecycle. Then WASM Cloud is, well, WASM interfaces and actors and stuff. Two very disparate projects talking about stuff just to raise awareness, I think. So going down that same path, don't feel like you have to have like news that's going to change the world. It's always good to just bring up stuff like, hey, here's a little status update of what we're doing, like dependencies are coming up and this is how we're thinking about doing it. And we have this really cool controller that goes and deploys out your software for you. You don't have to run this on your own machine or your dev or your CI machine. Yay! There's so many great things. So yeah, don't just throw something on the agenda. It's all good.
Okay, I'll do that. Because they basically posted, they were like, pre-KubeCon, we want to have like tag days where you give like tag, like the project updates. I was like, oh, that would be great for us to do. And I was like, I don't know how to sign up and do that because I'm not a part of this tag, but I should be. And it's just like me showing up because I saw you said something. So I'm just like kind of like moseying my way in quietly. But yeah. So Phil, I'm putting this hat on you. I'm sorry. UI operator experience. I will come up in October and I will be very concerned about it. But until then, it's all dependencies.
Yeah. I'll dig into it. I'm familiar with a lot of this stuff, so it's all good.
Hold on, Steven just contacted. I think that can merge as a separation. We have a few updates. Okay, Steven said we can merge this. I don't know if it finishes that issue though. Does it? And then that's one less issue for you guys to deal with.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know, yeah, as soon as, like, I know Steven was really pushing to wrap work on that right when, before he started his new job. So it was that itch he had to scratch.
He's been more active lately. That first week, I was like, well, and then like he's been
Yeah.
messaging me a lot more, and I'm like, oh, okay, you're back. Oh, okay.
Yeah. He's just, he had to figure out what his
The
hours were
boundaries
gonna
are.
be like. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, that's what I figured. I got like a couple messages this morning. I was like, hello, good morning. Oh, that CRD thing. I know he was touching on it. Was it just like the version that you guys were using needed to be updated for Cynthia's thing? Did you read that at all?
I'm not sure what we're talking about.
Let me pull it up. I really should just use one computer all the time.
That's what keeps it interesting. I moved from laptop to laptop.
When I have to do Microsoft meetings, I literally have 3 laptops because I have like one that is like Teams only, or it'll kill my MacBook. And then I have like my other 2 like actually doing stuff. My MacBook Air can't run anything because it thinks that it is a like it's like on AMD, but it's actually on like ARM. It has the M2 chip, so everything can't run. Like I can't run port or anything, and so I have to use this laptop. It's a cluster. Someday I'll fix it.
I've been big on, well, I've been big on cross compiling and getting ARM versions of everything lately. So,
Is everything? I had a silly question. In the API stuff, I see that it was only building for like Linux. Like it was checking if it was like, are we on AMD or are we on ARM? And then like when we passed in the tag to build, we were doing it Linux, AMD or ARM. This is like such a weird question. So does it only build for Linux, or are we just doing that because we build it in a container and so it doesn't really matter? Okay, the latter.
I tweaked the X build args, so you do
Okay.
get every platform, every architecture, every OS, every architecture of the Porter binary with the API server enabled with that build flag. But then for building the image is a multi-arc Linux build only. And that's just for consumption inside of Kubernetes.
Steven said that this solves the namespace issue and we're good to merge, but it breaks the current CRD, so it's not backwards compat. Do we care about backwards compat on operator right now?
We're not
No?
1.0, so no. Yeah.
Cool. All right, then do you want to give it like a once over? It's pretty short.
Yeah, I will. I'll do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I trust you to review operator stuff more than me. I'm just gonna be like, whatever.
I think, yeah. I'm surprised Steven hasn't pinged me about it, honestly. I think it's just because we were working on other things. So
It's so hard, and you just like kind of like stumble. I've been stumbling across issues that I'm like, oh, this is like a PR that I could just merge right now. What the hell? Let me know if any of those Dependabot things you actually care about. I think it's more of a like, oh, we're about to 1.0. Now we're gonna merge all this Dependabot stuff. So that works. Does break the current CRD. Oh, I see what you're saying. Cool.
it's going to take away the ability to specify a Porter config in an installation. That's what I'm guessing.
I mean,
Which, if anybody was doing like that, would be such an advanced move for anybody to do. I'd be shocked if anybody was doing that.
our Porter super users who are using the operator in production before it 1.0s are going to be mad.
Yeah. Because it's literally like, it'd be a crazy thing to manage if as an operator. Yeah.
Is there, so like, I'm trying to think, because I just wanted to see if there was any like super important takeaways from this week's meeting. Is there anything you need? Anything I can help you? Anything I need to go kick Ralph about? That kind of stuff. Same old, same old.
Not that I can think of this week. Yeah, no, I think I think there is a kind of a next goal of like getting Azure deployment in place as part of that demo also, and maybe AWS as well or something. But that should be pretty straightforward.
Did he give you like keys to the kingdom? He told me he could only give you a Kubernetes cluster. Do you not want that? You can talk shit. That's okay.
No, no,
also.
it's sort of like, that's just not enough. Yeah, you actually have to deploy all the resources into Azure. It's not like, yeah, you need to be able to like deploy uh, 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 persistent storage services and things like that that are outside of Kubernetes. So.
I'm gonna kick him right now.
But that being said,
Basically,
I'm not blocked by that right now. I'm just because I'm just not working on that part of it right now. I'm focusing more on the integration of telemetry or tracing and that sort of thing.
okay. I'm just gonna put it back on his radar. Basically, from what he told me, he was like, I can give you a kube config now, and then I can go like talk to those above that be and try to get us like a more official thing.
Yeah,
And like
getting
but
the
that just
official
takes time.
thing in, and yeah, and if that's going to take time, it's good to push on that so we get it, so we can cut it off at the pass when we need it.
Yeah. The goal is that like by KubeCon, everything is just by KubeCon. This is my hard deadline for everything. By KubeCon, we might be able to give you something so that when we go to do these demos, like it's just there, it's running, we're good. So cool. Cool, kick on that. I can get you AWS gift cards or like those, like, you know, like the free, like, let me go, I'll message Jackie too, to go get us free AWS credits. Cool, and I'll get you those.
Yeah,
What else?
actually, I mean, I don't know if there's possible funding available to support KubeCon, getting a registration or anything like that. Like if I don't know what happens if you get a presentation that's accepted there. Are there conference fees and all that sort of thing? It's still associated with it, I'm guessing. So
CNCF should give you a free ticket for use talking.
Okay.
But if you, for a travel budget, they do have a scholarship running. So you can go give that scholarship. And then honestly, I think if you give a talk, you can sign up and say like, I need assistance for that. And they should also give you like a budget for that.
I struggle with like, I'm just so used to my employer funding these things, and I have to get over the idea that I'm paying for all this out of my own pocket, even though it's good for me, you know?
Yep.
It depends. Like if you ask, usually they'll cover, like for GopherCon, they cover you know, the stay, they cover travel, they cover all of it. Like if you get accepted for a talk there, they want you not have to think about that and just go, right?
Yeah, good. Yeah. That's what I was hoping, but
yeah. You may have to ask for it, just be like, hey, you accepted me. I don't have it. My employer is not going to cover this. So please tell me how we can do this.
How do we proceed? Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, that's good.
Cool. Yeah. And let me know if there's any issues with that. I have no idea what's going on with KubeCon here either, but I just know I'm going. This is just like my brain. And then also HashiConf reached out to me and they were like, we're reviewing some things, but I don't know what's going on with them. So I'm just kind of letting them be. I don't know of any other like big comps that Porter should go through. I'm keeping it at a max of like 2 or 3 comps that I'll go to this year, but only like the ones that are really relevant to what Porter needs to be hitting. So
do you know much about HashiCorp and they're acquiring Replicated at all? Have you come across I remember this happening maybe a couple of years ago, but like when I talked to the folks at Replicated in the past, I was like, oh, so you're trying to solve what Porter does, basically.
Replicated says that they aren't acquired, but that HashiCorp. No, they're the people who put like Mitchell's quote all over their website because they're like, Mitchell likes us.
Oh, is that what it was? Okay.
I think it was. Yeah, it's like if you go on the front page, it's like Mitchell really likes us. Is this the same thing? We help software vendors ship their apps to companies. Yeah, well, from the tagline it looks, but it's Kubernetes focused only.
Yeah, and I actually remember talking to them at the KubeCon LA a couple of years back, and they were like talking about how CNAB support was on their radar and everything. And I just don't know where it's gone since.
Let's see if they're. It's a good way to tell if they're doing well or not, is to see if they're hiring. Yeah, I have some There's some positions opening.
No, come on, companies just put out open recs publicly just to, because they know they have to game the system, so.
They're smarter than the average bear. Damn.
We're gonna put out these public facing open recs, but we're not actually hiring for them right now.
Let's see. I'm gonna ask the group. How should group still use replicated? Because I know there were some murmurs in the SRE team that they were moving away from replicated, which is because only HCP uses replicated, nothing else internally. So let's see if they still use it. And then if they don't, then I can pull on why and pull on that string a little bit. Cool. What else? I'm going to be, now that Troy is here and we're getting a little bit more traction with community issues, I'm gonna be having like focus days on dependencies. And that'll be mostly, I'm thinking Wednesday for sure. And then like maybe Tuesday, because I only have one meeting on Tuesday. So if you don't hear from me for a day, that's what's going on, because I'm just heads down.
And yeah, if you need help with some of that stuff too, like, I mean, I kind of see an end in sight for putting a pin on some of this operator stuff. And yeah, obviously dependencies are like the must have, so.
I mean,
that's an exciting feature, so.
It'd be nice to have someone else to like brainstorm with. I'll definitely pull on you for that, because I pull on Aaron and I'm like, tell me what happened 3 years ago when this commit was made, and I need to like figure that out. But a lot of it is kind of backtracking. Like the goal right now is going like, hey, when we run the Porter create and Porter install, what actually happens? And I'd love to like kind of build a talk around that, just to give myself to make sure I know what the hell exactly we're doing.
I'm big on working on the development workflows too. So it's like tweak your code, and then within seconds you're testing everything related to dependencies, and like make it so it's as fast as possible to iterate on code changes for something like that. And it gets complicated with these scenarios where you actually want to like whatever, install a chain of bundles as part of, I just tweaked 2 lines of code, you know?
Right, right. And there's not like a lot of, like, we were using your graph for dependencies before. I'm trying to move us over to DAG. And like, so, and DAG isn't like super well documented, but I have the creator of DAG helping me install DAG into Porter. And
is
he's
it
just
the
like
Terraform DAG library?
Yeah. Martin,
I used that to create a service that was like Dependabot for GitLab. So
that's
it
so
would
fucking cool.
it would chain MRs through GitLab repos and look for graph
cool.
issues.
Now I have 2 people. Yeah, I was having Martin who like wrote DAG. I was like, how does this work? I've never gone to college. I don't even like pretend I don't know what a graph is. Because it's like, I'm just like, my partner gave me a graphing book to start reading because I was like, I don't know how this works. So I'll appreciate that as I kind of like cruise through, and then just having like someone to bounce off of and be like, hey, like I was watching talks from like 2019 on how Porter worked, and then like read an issue the other day where Karen was like, oh, we don't use the invocation images anymore, so we should probably delete that. And I was like, I just learned about these because I was reading the talks and now they don't exist. I was like, dang it.
Don't worry. Check out the graph book. You'll be doing min cut in like a week. You'll be money.
Oh, I don't know what these words are. I'm scared.
Yeah, my background's mechanical engineering. I can talk about the tensile strength of metals, not the mathematics behind DAGs. So.
Sarah, I am here for you. Like DAG support, graph support. Let's do this.
Everyone's so excited, and then I'll talk to Aaron, and Aaron's like, okay, so when and he'll just like say some math shit, and I'm just like, wow, it's just like no clue what just happened. I was like, okay, it'll be fun. I'm excited because dependencies is actually like it's like something I haven't thought about. Like graphs in general is like kind of outside of my wheelhouse. I've always been like the database girl, so it's kind of like scary. But it's also fun because it's like everything's already there, but I get to play Sherlock Holmes. Also, apparently, HashiCorp hates replicated, and they're moving away from it. So.
Well, there we go.
That was fun. I posted, did HashiCorp still use replicated? And I just got a bunch of replicated on fire emojis.
That's
Okay.
good.
So cool. All right. I will be bugging and I'll be posting the maintainers channel when I get my branch kind of, I mean, it's always going to be failing, but when I get like kind of more of a base, but I'll probably pull you into like just Slack huddles to be like, hey, like, what the hell am I doing? What does this code path do? And then we can kind of like debug together. It'll just be nice to have that. Does anyone else have questions, comments, concerns, queries? That one doesn't start with a C. I will be moved after tomorrow, and then I'm so excited. I'm so done. My current landlord wants me to pressure wash this entire house. I'm telling them to go somewhere.
Yeah.
But it'll be nice to not be moving anymore. It's been the worst. So cool. All right. I will see you all later. I'll see you on the internet.
Great.
Thanks.
All right. Thanks, Sarah. Bye.